everybody, it's Jeff Hopper, and I am here in the studio this time with my friend Randy Wolff. Randy is the South Central Region Director for Lynx Players. And we are going to talk in this series, a little 4-part series, about 4 things that we love. And I think you're going to love some of these things too. The first thing we're going to talk about is the love of golf. Randy, you've done maybe a thing that's anathema to some people. You've worn an LSU shirt today. But part of that is because of your love for golf. You started in golf as a competitive player. You played at LSU. You played on the PGA Tour for 5 years. That's not the same as the golf I play, I can tell you that. What did you love about being a competitive player?
It was almost a love-hate relationship even at the time playing competitively because you played so much. But I loved the accomplishment of returning a good score, making a check, or doing something that brought identity to myself. And that was one of my problems too. That was my identity at that time. The better I played, the better I felt about myself. So it was a love-hate relationship, but the love was always there. Started at age 6, and it's been a great game for me.
But when you left pro golf, professional tour in 74. So in 1974, now all of a sudden, you're not that guy anymore. There's not your identity from that anymore. I mean, you still played some competitive things, but did you have to learn to enjoy golf in a different way?
Absolutely. It was, I never even realized that after my last professional tournament as I was driving home to Houston, Texas, which is where my wife and I lived at the time. And I was driving down the highway. I was not in a good frame of mind. My wife was not. She was pregnant, and we had a child in the back seat, and it was not fun. Golf had deserted me, you know. In fact, when I got home, back to Houston, and got a job in the other world, I didn't play golf for a year or so. I played tennis, I tried to take other activities up.
Okay, so it was not, but now you've been playing again for 4 decades.
Oh, yeah.
What do you love about it?
I love the trips that we can take with guys, the love that we have for one another when we're playing golf, and I also love the fact that we can build relationships with guys on the golf course. Spend 4 hours with somebody is really an extended period of time.
It is. You don't just love it with guys, you play with Carol sometimes
I do.
Too. Tell us a funny story about recently playing around with Carol.
It was recently, she's been having rotator cuff problems.
Okay.
But she wanted to go out and we're going to play 9 holes late in the afternoon. And we get out to the first tee, and as she swings, her shoulders are really hurting her. But she finishes the first hole and gets on the second hole, and as she swings the club back, she says, I cannot play. It's hurting that much. So I continued to play 9 holes, and she walked with me and got up on the green and took the pin out for me. We had a wonderful time together. And as I was loading the clubs in the car, I was complimenting Carol, saying, thank you for coming with me. This was great to be with you today. And then I said, by the way, what'd you shoot? And she said, 6.
6. Great score.
Great score.
Yeah, 6. Randy, I'm curious about something. Is it right for us as 2 Christian men, 2 men who say that God is number 1 in our life, to love something like golf in the way that we do?
I think it is. I think God created us for that love, and I can look at it now as a platform that He's given you and I together to minister and to be with others and encourage them through the game of golf.
Yeah.
I never thought that was possible years ago.
It's interesting because God has made us earthly people living on earth.
Right.
The original design was perfect, of course. But in that design, though our sin has damaged it, there's still this resident piece of God's creation within us and within a lot of the things around us. In Proverbs 30, we read this: these are 3 things that are too amazing for me, 4 that I do not understand: the way of an eagle in the sky, the way of a snake on a rock, the way of a ship on the high seas, and the way of a man with a young woman.
That's beautiful.
Yeah, here's Solomon
That's beautiful.
looking at the things that God has made. And actually, in one case, a ship on the high seas, that's something that a man has made. through the things that God's given him and the skills that God has given him, and he's standing back and saying, wow, I can really appreciate this. And so I think that sometimes we really spiritualize it and we think, oh, I can't appreciate that because it's just the stuff of the earth. The stuff of the earth has God's creative hand resident in it. And we can still see in it God himself if we'll step back and appreciate it. One of the things I love about this guy is, and this isn't supposed to be about the love we have for each other, but one of the things I love about Randy is he does take time to step back and see the things that God has made and really soak those in and appreciate them.
Well, there is a wonderful photograph above my desk at home, and it's of Long's Peak in Estes Park, Colorado, where Carol and I served for 8 summers. And it's a beautiful snow-capped mountain and aspen trees in the foreground, and the psalm is 121. I will lift my eyes to the mountains. My help comes from the Lord who made those mountains. A lot of people will look at those mountains and say, aren't they beautiful? And worship the mountain. But we worship the creator of that mountain.
Yeah.
And I get chills right now just thinking of looking at things of beauty like that and realizing God created that for us.
Great. Well, thank you, Randy. And we thank you for watching. We'll be back with you next week.